It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the new Clayton Football head coach, Shane Handy. How are you doing today?
Awesome, Brandon. Look forward to visiting with you.
That's great. Can you talk about your coaching experience before you got to Clayton?
Well, before I took this job, I was at Randleman High School for 12 years, and I was athletic director and head football coach for 10 of those years. And then I was lucky to for the next 2 years.
Can you talk about your experience as an athletic director?
Which ended up 12. When we got to Randleman, we had a lot of work to be done. We were blessed to have a great fundraising opportunity where we did an extravaganza, $100 ticket type thing with a meal at Richard Petty's house. And Mr. Petty was willing to let us use his facilities and was always blessed us with his appearance some also. And just, those kind of things that you got to do in high school athletics to keep the funds going and to make sure that all your sports can have enough equipment and uniforms to be successful. So I enjoyed the athletic director part. It's a lot. And again, great opportunity, but I am not interested in being an athletic director anytime after that. But I do enjoy doing the football.
Can you talk about what you've learned at the previous school that you coached at?
When I came to Randleman, I just got out of college football at Ouachita Baptist University for 2 years, and then I was at Catawba College before that. So, it was a great opportunity to come back home. That was my hometown, and to make a difference, hopefully, with some young people and in our town, and that's what I look forward to about Clayton coming here. We're working on some facility issues, and we've got a great group of young men here at Clayton, and so we're excited about the opportunity ahead of us. And I brought in some guys with me, staff-wise, and also had some guys on staff that remained here. And so we're real excited about our coaching staff and opportunity to coach our young men here at Clayton.
Can you talk about your experience in college?
I had a opportunity to go get my master's in the early 90s at Delta State University and coach at Delta State for Todd Knight, and then got my master's. Then left Delta State. Ended up coming back to Delta State a year later after I got married, and my wife and I both finished our master's there, and then also coached at Guilford College, where I played football and baseball, and then for Mike Ketchum, and then took a job at Catawba years later, and with Chip Hester, who is now the head coach at Barton University, and just a awesome gentleman, and will do a great job at Barton. So I was with him at Catawba for 4 years, and then I went back to Arkansas with Todd Knight, who was the head coach at Delta State, and took that job and stayed there 2 years before I came to Randleman. So bounced around a little bit in college football. It's kind of what you do, but enjoyed the opportunities there and enjoyed recruiting, enjoyed coaching defense at most of those stops, and just had a great time coaching and recruiting and traveling all over the country basically.
How was your time at Catawba and Guilford?
Guilford, man, that's where I played. So when I went back, we're trying to get, get it on track and get it going again. And we had some success there when we played there in our junior and senior year and won a conference championship. So every time you go to a job, you want to try to win a conference championship. And so at Catawba, when we went to Catawba, it was a great job. They actually had won some conference championships and played in the national playoffs and things like that. So when I was there, we were able to win the conference championship a couple times and also go to the national playoffs a couple times. And we went and played Arkansas Tech in Arkansas, and we played Valdosta down at Valdosta. We were able, in the 4 years I was there, we were able to be in the national playoffs for 2 of them.
Can you talk about your time at South Davidson High School?
That's an interesting little place. When I took that job, I was leaving Delta State, and I was actually at that time at Delta State, I was director of recreation and wellness. And so I wanted to get back home, and I had several opportunities to coach some different places. Felt like the Lord led us there for a year, but it was a tough job. No one had really won many games there. I took a guy's place that had retired from there, been there many years, and what was a great man, but they had really struggled in football. And so I went there and tried to do some new things and as a young coach and work on some facility stuff for them. And, they were moving into a new school, which was not funded very well. And so it was a challenging time, but I cherished that year because I met some really good friends there and that kind of thing in the coaching profession. And, the program kind of got on track after that. So I was excited about hopefully the changes we made a difference at South Davidson during that time.
Can you talk about your time in the Shrine Bowl being the assistant coach in 2015?
Yeah, 2015 was awesome. Awesome time with Coach Kirby as the head coach of the Shrine Bowl. We had a great time. We had some really good players, some guys that have really done well in college. We probably had probably 6 guys on defense that didn't come that we had picked for different reasons. Man, we had some big time players that didn't make it, to the game, which would have helped us even more. But we had a great time, and it was a great opportunity to work in the Shrine Bowl just because the Shriners are such dedicated men to help the children that need the money, need the surgeries that help them, able to walk or able to live a better life. So the Shrine Bowl is an awesome opportunity. I cherish that time with all the coaches that we were with that year. We had a great time, and of course, it's always good to beat South Carolina. So that was good, and we were able to win that game.
Can you talk about what it was like to have the best of the North Carolina teams in the Shrine Bowl?
Yeah, I tell you what, it was neat to coach those guys. It really was. We and good for South Carolina, because if we'd have got 6 of those guys that one went to Clemson, one went to Notre Dame, one went to Auburn, those guys weren't able to play with injuries or just their signing date issues and things like that. But gosh, if we'd had those guys, they'd have really been in trouble. But we had some great players. I had a quarterback went to Oklahoma. I don't know how he's done at this point. He may have transferred by now, but we had, some really good running backs, skill guys. Our DBs, one of our DBs went to Duke, had a great career. Another young man, went to NC State. And so we had some really good players. But you know what? At the end of the day, they were no different than any other players with their love for the game and dedication to their craft. And but they were great young men. Gosh, we had a great time with them, and they were quality people. So we were blessed.
Can you talk about what you've took from Randall to now go to Clayton?
Randleman was was a really neat opportunity. When we got there, it was really down, had not won many games, and we were able to build a culture and had a great coaching staff that worked really hard with the young men, and were able to get some guys to go to college. We had a lot of success of men going different little places, whether it was Division III, Division II, or Division I. We were able to get guys excited about football, excited about the opportunity to go play at the next level, and also build some facilities, clean up some things, and win some nice games and win several conference championships during that time and go to the state playoffs. Last year, we had a couple undefeated seasons up to the end till we lost in the playoffs. And so that was a fun time. I've got a young man, Tanner McGee, just played last night at South Alabama against Southern Miss, and he was one of my quarterbacks about 3 or 4 years ago. And so, when you see those guys go on to the next level, and or when they call you up and say, "Hey, coach, appreciate what you did for us," and they're finishing college or they're going to the next phase of life, and appreciate you and your coaching staff and what you kind of built or put into them, and that's always exciting. So we will bring that same excitement to Clayton. We'll bring that same enthusiasm of building facilities and building young men, and challenge them academically, make sure they're working hard academically so they can go to the next level or go to college and get a degree, or go to technical school and get something that they can enjoy doing the rest of their life. So we're about building young men. We're about building a culture that will be successful and withstand itself, of course.
As you were talking about your coaching staff, were you able to bring some of your coaching staff from Randall back to Clayton with you, or did you have to leave them behind?
Well, I had a great group of guys at Randleman, and we Coach Shane Timmons actually took the job at Randleman after I left, and I recruited him to college, to Catawba, and then when he finished college, I brought him to Randleman. So he had been with me on my staff, and so he became the head coach. He was assistant principal at the time, and gave that up to be the head coach. And Brian Hughes was a high school teammate and one of my best friends also, and he stayed there with Shane. And so we had a lot of guys that were Randleman guys at Randleman. So I'd hired a bunch of guys that had either played there or been there years ago. And so most of them stayed there. I did bring Sidney Nairn. Sid Nairn is helping me coach. He's a history teacher here. Brandon Barrage is one of my former players, and he helped some at Randleman, but he was at Western Carolina as a quality control offensive line coach. And so I brought those two guys from the Randleman area. And then Ryan Johns was a young man that was at Butler High School, and his father's a longtime coach at Mount Pleasant. So was very lucky to get him also as a young coach, and he'll coach linebackers. So we're excited about the guys that I brought with us to the job. But we also have some guys that are really good people here. Dr. Eddie Price, who has been in the superintendent's office and stuff in the past. He will be the defensive coordinator, and excited about that. Coach Price and I worked together years ago at a different job. So we've got Coach Walker is a gentleman that brings excitement in the weight room and does a great job for us. And so we're excited about the guys we have, and have several different other coaches that remain on staff from Clayton, from the previous staff.
Can you talk about some of the football traditions that you plan to still achieve that Clayton has had in the past? Like, for example, I've heard where they touch the C right before they walk out of the game. I mean, right before they walk onto the field.
Yeah, that we will continue all the traditions that they previously have, of course, and hopefully add a few more. But we're working on the new field house, so we're excited about that, and that will add a lot of excitement just because a new facility that was well needed. We really need needed some updating, of course. And so we'll work on the tunnel, coming out of the tunnel, and having some smoke coming out of that thing, and hype it up like we did at Randleman. I thought Randleman had one of the best high school entrances in high school football. So we will work on that aspect of game day excitement and game day opportunities, and we'll continue to work on the stadium at Clayton, and make Gary Fowler and Coach Nixon proud of the additions and the new additions to the press box, hopefully, and making the place even better than it already is.
What do you look forward to accomplishing in your first year this coming up spring, as we now have to play high school football in the spring?
Yeah, well, we always set our goals for number one is always to win the county, no matter what that is, and that's always important, to win your own county, the teams you play in the county, and then win a conference championship. I mean, that's our goals, and then we of course want to get in the playoffs and go as far as we can go and win a state championship, and that's always been the goals, no matter what. We're always going to set the goals high, and the expectation is high, and and just demand our young men to work hard and give them the opportunities to accomplish their goals.
Can you talk about how tough your conference is with Cleveland in it and corn holders in it?
Yeah, man, we've got a great county, and I feel like no doubt Cleveland is right now the goal setter in our conference, with winning the conference past couple of years. We got some really good players. They do a great job coaching, and I know there's a great tradition of rivalry here that I'm coming into, and I'm excited about continuing that rivalry. But again, they are the head dog right now in our conference, and we look forward to that challenge.
What advice would you give future high school coaches looking to get into the profession?
I think any time that you can go and give back to young people and work in education, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's something that you've got to be excited about, making a difference, making an impact, putting your mark on your job, and just being excited about making a difference in somebody's life. So, I think it's a great profession. I would recommend it to anyone. I think there's always places where you can go out of college and make more money, but more money doesn't always make you happy. So I think if you really love coaching and you love the games that you enjoy, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever that is, that you go after that. And if that's your dream to coach, then you need to pursue it, because you probably won't ever be happy unless you do what what's in your heart. So
that's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with Clayton Football on social media?
Well, we are, I have a Twitter, and it's Shane Handy 0404, and on Twitter. I don't do much social media, but we have our own website, ClaytonFootballNC.com, and that has the schedule and things like that. And we're working on that website right now as we speak. So that website's up, but we've got to do some work on it. So, but that is ClaytonFootballNC.com, www. All that. So. Those are the two ways I think, and of course, I'm not a big social media person, but I do have a Twitter. And so, and there's Clayton Football Twitter page also, that someone else runs at this point. So, but that's what we have.
Thank you again, Coach Shane, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming season at Clayton.
Brandon, we appreciate the opportunity to talk about Clayton football, and it's always a pleasure to meet you. And thanks for your time, and thanks for what you do for high school sports.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Shane, for your interview, and best of luck.
Hey, thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.